We appreciate you watching and listening to the Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. What's up, Cowboy fans? Dead Jeff here. Not breaking news, but really recent news. The Cowboys have their defensive coordinator. The Cowboys have decided to hire Christian Parker away from the Philadelphia Eagles as their new defensive coordinator. Now, look, we talked a lot about who they would been interviewing, who's come in, and this Christian Parker has been really impressive to the Cowboys coaching staff and general managers and Jerry and all these guys. Is this hire a little bit out of left field? Not really. What this hire tells us is that Brian Schottenheimer has been leading this hiring campaign. And I think that when you look at the fact that, hey, Jim Leonhard is still coaching in the playoffs, a lot of us wanted Jim Leonhard to be the defensive coordinator. Then you got this big surge from Durante Jones from the Vikings. And then they were really impressed with Christian Parker. And look, if you look at his resume, it's very interesting, right? He started as a quality control coach for Green Bay. In 2021, he was hired by the Denver Broncos and Vic Fangio to be the defensive backs coach. Now, this is the thing that makes this great, right? So he was hired by Sean Payton in 2021, and then he kept that job through multiple coaching changes. And then in 2024, he was signed by the Eagles, where he was reunited with Fangio. So he's got a history with Fangio, okay? So look, the best thing about this hire, he's a young coach, hungry, and look what he did with the Eagles' defensive backfields, namely Dejon and Quinyon Mitchell. So both of these people are upset. They're angry. They love this coach, and that can only mean good things for the Cowboys. Now, when we talk about this kind of hiring that they've done, it's a young coach. It's somebody who has no NFL head coaching experience, which is kind of a departure from the past defensive coordinators. This has been, I think, the first one since Monty Kiffin that didn't have head coaching experience. So that is something different. You know, we think about Jerry Jones doing the same things over and over again, talking about insanity. It looks like they're trying something different here, and it's very exciting. Now, I didn't know a lot about Christian Parker, and if you've watched earlier videos, we didn't bring him up a lot. This guy must really have impressed Schottenheimer and Jerry and Steven and those guys, because they have made him their new defensive coordinator, obviously. So let's think about this. It's a good day when the Eagles team, players, and fans are upset that a coach got away. Now, that's one reason to be happy as a Cowboy fan. Now, the second thing is it looks like this guy is a great teacher, is a great communicator, which are things that they wanted for this defense here. Somebody who can really teach the defense. Now, I think when you look back on this debacle of a defense in 2025, you could say that the defensive backs were probably one of the worst parts of the team. Not just because of talent, but also because of injury. You put that in the linebackers, they could be 1 and 1A as far as trouble for the Cowboys. Now, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean sent out a couple of tweets, and you can see them here on the screen, that, man, they're going to miss this coach, and they wouldn't be who they are today if it wasn't for Christian Parker. Again, that's an awesome sentiment. Now, Schottenheimer said he's looking for a good teacher and communicator, and they interviewed a lot of candidates, and so they landed on Christian Parker after it's all said and done. Now, I know some people could say, hey, they could have at least waited and got that second interview with Jim Leonhard after the phone interview or whatever it was. But how do you feel about this, Cowboy fans? Let us know, because to me, I'm excited. I did a little research into Christian Parker, and listen, I know that there was a lot of hype when Al Harris was here and working with our DBs, and a lot of people thought maybe he should have been promoted back then. We talked about with the Eberflus hiring, there was one interview, and it was Matt Eberflus, and they hired him. This time they cast a wide net, They got the guy that impressed them the most, and they're moving forward. And there's a lot of energy behind this hire, and I like it. He's 34 years old, right? Now, what are the negatives about this hire? And really, there's only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and that would be that he doesn't have defensive coordinator experience. He's never called a defense per se before. It's never been totally on him. You know, he's had Vic Fangio there, and it's a great guy to learn from. So if you want to look at a negative, you could say, hey, he's young, and he's not ever called a defense before. But on the positive side of things, look what he did with the Eagles draft picks, right? That they had at corner from previous years. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, they are all pro level. And they attribute that a lot to Christian Parker. So you talk about, okay, one hand, inexperience could be a negative, but that youth and energy and new fresh eyes and fresh vision could be a positive. So look, I'm excited about this. I'm all aboard the Christian Parker hype train. And again, to reiterate, anything that makes the Eagles fans upset and the Eagles organization a little upset about this, that makes it make it feel much, much better to us Cowboy fans. That's kind of like the icing on top, right? So listen, I want to know your comments. I don't know what you think, because if you look at the guy's track record, he's done really good things with the defensive backfield he's worked with. Now we'll see who he brings in on his staff defensively, and see what that looks like. But I'm all for giving this guy a shot. I mean, what we have done in the past with former NFL head coaches has not really worked out for us. And so I like this new path, this new trajectory, and I'm excited to see what it develops. Now, we know that this is leading up to the draft where it's going to be defensive heavy. Could we get Caleb Downs as a safety? Possibly. He may be gone. But there's plenty of cornerbacks there to choose from. So this is exciting. This is, really, when you think about it, most of the Cowboys off seasons don't get off to such a great start. But this one has taken a little bit different shape of its own here, and a new direction here. And I really like what I'm seeing. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Please comment. Let us know what you think about Christian Parker. And yeah, he was an Eagle, but now he's a Cowboy. And hopefully he will help us beat those Eagles next year. So let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for listening to the Dead Jeff Show. We'll see you next time. Peace.